We know at this point, in terms of the timeline that we understand from officials as to how this played out, we understand that around 2 o'clock in the afternoon local time here in Florida, the fire alarm sounded inside the school. Now, many students came out and said that they thought that that was strange because just in that morning, just a couple of hours earlier, they had had an actual fire drill where they'd evacuated the building as they are supposed to do. So many thought it was strange that there would be another fire drill, but in fact many people started to head into the corridors and leave the school. And it's believed at that point that that is when the suspect opened fire or is alleged to have opened fire on students in the corridors as they left the classrooms. Many schools, of course, have shelter-in-place training where students are told to stay inside classrooms to secure the doors in the event that there is an active shooter or an alert of an active shooter. So what police have speculated and what they're talking to the suspect about is that there may have been some attempt to increase the casualty toll, to increase the death toll beyond what he may have believed he could have achieved. We understand that there are several victims in area hospitals that are being treated for their injuries. At the moment, we haven't determined or have been told whether or not the death toll is expected to rise. Currently, the figure that we have is 17 killed. This is one of the deadliest school shootings in the United States, but as you mentioned, Florida, no stranger to these kinds of things. Just a couple of hours to the north of me in Orlando was where the Pulse nightclub shooting took place, of course, which took 49 lives.
Steve, and as we just heard from the Broward County Superintendent there, he did confirm that the suspect, 19-year-old Nikolas Cruz, he was enrolled as a student of Broward County. Talk to us a little bit more about the profile of this suspect and what we know about him.
Yes, it'll take a little while, of course, to piece all the details together on the suspect, Nikolas Cruz, but we are getting some indication, some kind of details about his background. We understand that he was a former student of this school who was suspended from the school where he is alleged to have carried out this attack. But he was, at 19, still enrolled in Broward County schools. Broward County is where I'm talking to you from right now. In fact, what we understand from students who left the school after the shooting had taken place, we understand that many of them had recognized the suspect in this incident, Nikolas Cruz. Many say that that he was familiar to them and they didn't find it strange that he would be in the school. What we do know about him leading up to this shooting, that he was armed with an AR-15, multiple magazines. We understand that he walked into the school, he opened fire on both students and staff. There are a lot of security around these schools. This is a school of some 3,000 students, so this isn't a place where there is no security at all. And of course, questions will be raised now about how a student was able to bring in a gun of that size and multiple magazines into the school to carry out this kind of atrocity. Governor Scott there referring to Florida as a place where this kind of thing doesn't happen, or he wished it didn't happen, but Florida has one of the highest rates of gun violence in the United States, and in fact one of the most lax gun regulation regimes in the United States. It's relatively easy to get hold of a gun here, so there'll be questions asked about how the suspect managed to or allegedly obtained his firearms and who may be paid for them.